Good morning, or afternoon, or evening. It's actually the evening, the sun is setting over there. This river, whose name I can't actually remember, and I couldn't find it on my GPS, my car's parked over there. This river is perhaps not so remarkable. It's flowing very fast at the moment, probably because there's a wind behind it, but also it's spring, so you've got the melting, it's going through there. It's probably not that remarkable, other than the fact that for some hundreds of years this was actually the border. This river marked the border between what belonged to Prussia and what belonged to Russia, and I'm standing on the Prussian side, and over on the other side there is what would be the Russian side. For some time, when Poland was divided up into bits, maybe it wasn't whole hundreds of years, but it certainly was for a long period of time. Over there you'll see the Restauracja Juka, if I can just find, well, it's over in amongst those trees there. Here's Restauracja Juka, which I've filmed in before. This is of course Golub-Dobrzyń. One half of it was Golub, the other half of it was Dobrzyn, and can never remember either which is which. You have to look it up onto Wikipedia. All I know is that I've filmed here before, and I'll perhaps link this up to the film that I made before. By the way, there's of course over there, very much on the Germanic side now, is the Teutonic castle. There. That's a Teutonic Knights castle. That's a Templar castle, one of many, looking out to defend this Prussian Templar territory against invasion from the Polish side and then from the Russian side maybe. There we have a defensive Templar castle, that big thing over there. I'm not getting the best view of the detail on the camera, I think, because of the fact that I've got the sun setting behind it. But anyway, it's over there. But before, when I was filming here, I got one of my viewers of that film saying to me, "Look, you haven't really done our town any favours, because you've shown some things, but you haven't shown the old town." Well, I haven't seen the old town. I didn't know there was an old town. So it's hard to work out where that old town would be, and I think I'm walking towards it now. And so I'm, just like I did for Grudziądz before, it's another place I'm going to go through today, but perhaps with not such good light as I've got at the moment. Like a basket of flowers with flowers done on it. Oh, this is all for John Paul II. Jesteś tak niezwykły w tej swojej zwykłości. You are so unusual in that usuality of yours. To John Paul II, in tribute, the citizens, or the residents, if you like, of Golub-Dobrzyń. So there's this, of course, is quite close to the anniversary of the death. I think it's the third already, isn't it? No, the fourth of John Paul II. It's also very close to the anniversary of the first anniversary of the Smolensk tragedy, and there was Smolensk tragedy. As I was leaving Warsaw today, I didn't really have time to film it there, but there was lots of things going on for that. So these are the defensive walls, mury obronne. So this is all the regional programme of the European Union. So they were made in the first half of the 14th century. They don't look that old, but that's when they were first built. And every 25 metres there was a several condignation, which is several stories high tower with windows for shooting arrows out of. Mury miejskie Golubie przestali pełnić funkcję obronną w XVII wieku, so that they stopped making a defensive purpose only in the 17th century. So there we go. You've got 3 centuries where they've had that function. Obviously on the other side you've got the castle, so they were defending and these were defending, and so you've got defences up on either side of the river. So in modern times a new kind of development of artillery were made, in which made basically a difference in the need to or the way in which the town needed to be defended. So these walls became ineffectual after a while. This is the case with every castle almost, that after a while the walls become ineffectual against the new weapons. So they basically started to add houses onto them, which reminds me of the story in Jericho of where Rahab's window is actually coming out of the city wall. So it just goes to show that they'd already, at the time in which the Jews, or the Israelites if you like, came in to Israel and they conquered Jericho, it was already at a point when probably the Jericho people hadn't taken their defences all that seriously anyway, if they had Rahab putting a wall on or her house in the city wall. So you can see these houses there that have been added onto the city walls in probably the 18th century, maybe 19th century. This here is obviously a 20th century building which has been added and built up to the defensive wall. Which doesn't mean to say that this is anything other than a medieval layout of the town. What can we tell? What images give the game away of the history of this town to the person that's not done his research before coming? Because I didn't think of this, but when I got here I just remembered that I'd promised to look in at the centre. So all I'm doing is I'm taking an untrained look, or an unprepared look at it. The windows are interesting, and the way those arches are over the window, some of them the stucco's fallen off. You've got an interesting pattern here above the window on the stucco there. You've got an interesting door there, made of wood. Clearly not all of this is as ancient as other things. You've got these odd square blocks of things which are definitely communist period style of building. Then you've got other stuff which is but this is the German side, I'm sure. I think I may have given the impression that we were on the Russian side, but we're on the German side. But this is the same fortification as you've got in the castle over there. Dom Książki, a bookshop. These famous books here. Apparently there's a statistic that says there are some Polish families, quite a lot of Polish families only have 1 or 2 books in the home. And if the bookshop is made out of cuddly toys, then it's hardly surprising. This is books though, which is nice. So there is a bookshop here after all. Some educational books mainly in the window. Ah, here we are. There's a nice surprise. There's always a surprise around the corner in Poland. A bit chilly, I shan't look at this for long. But at least I can go back to the previous video of Golub-Dobrzyń and say, well, look, I've done it now. I've kept my word. I said I'd do it when I next came here, and I've remembered it and I've done it. See, I haven't been here for 2 years. I think the last time I filmed it around here might have been even closer to 3 than 2 years ago. There's the castle coming up there again behind there. But nevertheless, I managed to remember it, which is surprising. Some of these buildings are clearly older than others. When I get out into the middle here, I'll do a nice round robin. That doesn't look too old. Got the same basket arrangement as we had by Old Popey Pance's memorial. So what we got here, this is St Catherine's Church, 14th century church. That one there. That's Club Bold Club, Club Freedom. So there we are. It's a club of boldness and freedom. Want to be bold or free in this city or town? That's the place for you. Bold Club, Club Bold, Club Wolność. Looking old, and can you see the symbolry, the rays of the sun up the triangle, the pyramid with the rays of the sun going on it? There we are. That's a definite Templar sign, isn't it? There's no shortage of these gables. There's another gable, and it's an old clockmaker's place. You can see the clockmaker's Zegarmistrz there, almost erased from. Could do with a few bob being spent on it, I think, just to bring it back to its former splendour. It'd be really quite nice then if we could get that back to the way it used to be. But there's an interesting gable there with a window almost smashed out of it. But you can see a kind of triangular effect there with the little pod on the top there, the round ball on the top, and then a sort of eye arrangement made out of bricks in the middle, just making a decorative function, but also again it's a symbol. The eye, or the round in the middle of the triangle. Probably a lot of people watching my films won't need me to explain once again what that all means. It's pretty similar to what that means, and it's also pretty similar to what those ones over there mean. Again, we've got the same recurrent theme, the triangles with the round eyes in the middle of them, so you've definitely got Templar stamped all over this place. Masonic, and it goes to show how old a lot of that stuff is. May have gone into rack and ruin, but it was there even that long ago, 14th, 15th, 16th centuries. And here you have a very interesting thing which I don't know how to interpret. Anybody wishes to attempt that one, they're very welcome to do it in the comments section. Lovely balconies going up there, can you see them? Lovely looking ones, they're excellent. And it's actually in good repair because you can see the green, dark green tiles here. It's actually very lovely. And then as you get back to right up to the top, you've got this surprising, slightly different bricks. The gable there, again with an exquisite sort of bow window, almost bowing inwards a little bit there, and those symbols, so the three crosses, but with the round, again the round arrangement of bricks going around them, that looks a little bit like a temple all in itself there, with the temple door being the window up there, and the two doors to the sides of it being, with the main door being represented by sort of alcoves which are bricked in. It's really unique. I've never seen one that's something quite like that before. And you can see you've got that the three sort of crosses effectively, but made by those three, which I'm holding right now in the middle of this, the three upward pointing kind of grooves in the brickwork, with the red line of bricks going across them there. I'm talking about what's in the middle of the circle there. Is that clear? I think that's fascinating. And come down again nice and slowly so you can see all of the intricacy of that. The nice colours on the green. Almost like a sort of flight of steps coming down under each one of those windows. And the balconies are really well made. I'd love to go inside of that actually, but quite tremendous. Okay, I want to see what an old door looks like. See how this old wood, that's a real heavy wooden door. That's ancient. It's an inviting sight, isn't it? You can see at the end of it you can see through into the behind thing. I don't fancy necessarily going in there. I might be considered to be going onto somebody's private territory without any reason. You can see those gables there from this side are very nice as well. Every so often you see flags out. I'm surprised that there aren't actually lots of flags out today, because this is the weekend of the commemoration of the Smolensk tragedy, and often what people do is they put out the Polish flag with a black ribbon on it. Paint peeling off a slightly more modern sign there. An interesting clock on the others showing 7 o'clock, which is true, it is 7 o'clock. More similarly positioned lights going down there. An interesting symbol here, concentric circles, and in the middle a rose similar to what would have been a Lutheran rose but without the cross. Interesting, again, that symbol there. I don't believe that people usually do these things on buildings without some form of symbolism being intended. These are interesting pieces of stucco, but whether they're original I don't know. Have to $20.10 AE. It's modern probably, but it's been done up in that style. $20 MWK10 AE. Well, anything, if you can make out what that's supposed to mean, then by all means let me know. I can't see any plaque explaining the significance of that 20, etc. That number 8 seems to have been there a long time. Those doors seem to have been there a long time. In the main, I would say that these buildings are being eaten alive by the elements. Interesting thistle there, which somebody has almost in a criminal way placed the Ruch Salon Prosovi over the thistle. It's one of several similar ones. I don't exactly know what the difference is between that and that, but some interesting things all over the place on that. England and Ireland, used clothes. When in England and Ireland we put our used clothes in in the there you go, there's another one of those. When we put our used clothes into the charity bin, we probably don't expect that they're going to be sold to people at the other end. We probably think they're going to be distributed free, but that shop is an example of what actually happens to them, and there's a whole industry of that. I'm not saying that's necessarily completely wrong. I mean, obviously you have to make some kind of a business out of it, and usually it's not for profit per se entities that are doing it. They're certainly there for wages. The people in there do get paid, and it's still a business in a sense, but it's a not for profit business. It's a for wages business, and it does have a social benefit. It does have a social benefit, and it does have an ecological benefit. In that, obviously, you're utilising the clothes again. That whole wall seems to have come free there and fallen on the floor or whatever, and so it needs to be put back. Again, it's very similar to a whole temple, that gable, and often the arrangements of these gables seem to be more reminiscent of church buildings than of secular buildings. And you've got the almost Greek column there with, I don't know if that's supposed to be laurels going up the side or willows or what that's supposed to be, but certainly a wealth. This is almost similar to some UK things you'll see in the UK with fancy brickwork, red bricks against white bricks. Not unusual. And you can see that this gives the game away that actually this sign here is made from wood, which is not something you usually see. It's old. These days that sort of thing would be made from plastic letters. You can see that it was made from wood and that part of it's fallen apart. So the very fact that the thing is crumbling and falling into pieces and getting eaten by the elements is actually fairly clear that what you're seeing here is of some authenticity. Whereas you see these old medieval places that are all done up to the nines, and of course what you're really seeing with your eye couldn't possibly be the original thing, because the elements do attack buildings. You've got smoke going on the whole time, you've got rain coming down, you've got carbonic acid and everything like that wearing away slowly but surely at the face of every building. And when you go to places and they're supposed to be old and ancient, you can be pretty sure that if they look spick and span and brand new, that what you're looking at is new. It's not ancient. It may be done over the old ancient model, but it's all new. So I used to dislike Warsaw from a tourist perspective, because, although I like it from a point of view of living there, but I didn't like it from a tourist perspective because I thought, well, this isn't authentic. But then most places aren't authentic. You want authentic? That's authentic. Okay? Maybe the castle's a bit more visible now, the windows and things in it. And if when you come up close to it everything's spick and span, then you know it's been done over again, and what you're seeing isn't the original thing. But when you see this all crumbling away, then you know that you're being shown something which is authentic, probably. Although there are some places that add that effect in, or artificially also. It's getting a bit smoky. I think somebody's burning something. Right, there's the river again, the old border, and immediately you can see as far as that side of the river is concerned, much more low-level architecture. Nothing's fancy, all more. Well, it was under Russian control for some time, as I say, and that's just your standard Polish, Poland, and Russian architecture. Though even I have to say that what's on this side of the river here, that thing there, despite being on this side of the river, it does look like a Russian izba there, a little bit. So it's not exactly a straight cut off, but in general that's what you would perhaps say about it. So hopefully that's redressed the balance. I've done it in VGA, maybe I should have done it in HD, but I didn't think about it, so it's in VGA. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Okay, so here's the, last time I did this I had awful flares coming from the sun. Hopefully it'll be better now because I've got the sun behind me. Not behind me, but the side there. That's pretty stately, isn't it? That's basically the castle. So if you want to know more about it, then it's Golub-Dobrzyń. I'm not going to film this again because I filmed it before, this bit of road here, so that's all findable by tracing my channel name, Usenet posts, and words like Golub, G-O-L-U-B. You can find all this stuff. There's all sorts of things about travelling around Poland in it. I do less of it now, of course, because different job, slightly different job, with more Czech Republic and less Poland. And me doing more managing and less direct work for clients, but still I like it a bit when I did that. And that's the reason I came, partly for two reasons I came by car today. One of them was the fact that the train has now changed, so that it takes 6 hours to get to Gdańsk and it goes through via Torun, because they're repairing the railway line. And then the reason why they're repairing it should be fairly clear from one of the films which I took not long back, and the flooding and what have you, and the undermining of the railway line at one point. And so that's all changed. The train from Gdańsk to Warsaw now goes over Torun, and it started when I was last up in Gdańsk. I was one of the first people to be on that new line, just leaving Golub-Dobrzyń. That's some symbol of how much water there is around at the moment. So basically, what it did was it was pretty much the first day, 1st of March I think I might have been here. Yes, that's right, it was the 1st of March. I'd been looking at gas fields in the north, this new shale gas that there is here, and I came back down again on the train in the evening, and it took an awful lot longer than I thought. Certainly longer than going up, because I was going up still the old way and coming back the new way. On pretty much the first, or one of the first trains which was going over Torun. It's a silly way to go. It doesn't go straight down to Torun and across, it goes across country the way it used to go, and then it goes across to Torun, and then it goes back down again in a great big Z shape, which is why it takes 6 hours instead of 3 hours, or 4 hours max. And so I just didn't fancy that anymore, and also it was really not particularly nice train, and so I just thought, well, forget that. It's light now, it's warmer, and if I'm up there with the car, then also I can do a bit more in the evenings. I might get into Gdańsk or something and see somebody that I want to see there, and certainly it's more flexible for coming back again. I don't have to worry about trains coming back. So that might save me a day or something even, so that's pretty good. And then there are fewer trains as well since it changed, I've noticed. Certainly fewer direct trains that don't have loads of changes on the way. And lots of water around. And so I decided that was one reason for coming by car. There's all sorts of reasons for not coming by car, like the fact that fatal accidents happen by car an awful lot more than not by car. So it's can't be faulted to avoid coming by car if you can avoid it. But the other thing was, I haven't been up this way by car for 2 years since I changed my job to what I'm doing now. In fact, I was coming back from the same client 2 years ago when I decided to definitely make the change. So it's I was in the car and I basically made my mind up coming down in the car. It was just about the same time 2 years ago, and from the beginning of May 2 years ago, that's my 2 years in the new job, and going to the Czech Republic and everything. So that's the time frame roughly. As I say, at the moment it's the 10th of April right now, and that's really about the time 2 years ago that I basically made my mind up. I'd had a very kind offer, but whether I could really take it or not, whether I could make the leap of faith from where I was before, and also I had another offer from another place which would have meant going to Russia. So which I should do really, and whether I should do it or just hang on where I was. I was a little bit worried, that I wasn't doing the right thing, because you've got the Protestant work ethic and everything, and I don't believe in resigning and things like that. Whereas this would have meant resigning, but the guy hadn't paid me for some time, and I think was taking advantage. That's all settled now, but it took some time afterwards to be settled, and so had I not left, I almost certainly would have got into severe difficulties. So I had to do it. But on the way back down from my client in Chev back down to Warsaw, I stopped off in Torun, actually by car, but this time going direct to Torun, not in a big Z shape. I stopped off in Torun and saw my pastor, who he's not an ex-pastor. He used to be in Warsaw, and he used to be the guy that would have been pastor at the church that I went to at that time. I still do go in theory, but I don't go that much in practice because of the family situation that I have. But I still consider that I'm part of that, even though actually turning up is a difficult thing when you've got 2 autistic children and a wife with multiple sclerosis who can't walk and virtually not leave the house. I mean, that's the benefits of going are outweighed by the disadvantages, both for us and for the others who would be distracted by everything. So we just look on discretion as a better part of valour and pray at home and read the Bible at home on Sundays usually. That I think has to be understood by the people, and every so often I get a call or an email from them to make sure we're okay. But anyway, this guy's American, and I consider him to be a very fine Christian, and I think he's a very wise man. And so I went there. He'd already been out of Warsaw for a while, but I hadn't seen him for a while. So I decided that I was going to go and see him and take his advice on whether I was being wrong, whether I was wrong in wanting to change my job. And he basically said that I'd stuck it a lot farther than he ever would, put up with far more than he ever would from my former employer. So that pretty much clinched it. If he thought I was doing the right thing, then no doubt I was doing the right thing. He's the sort of person that would tell you straight if you weren't doing the right thing. He would be polite about it, but he'd be damn straight about it. So that's very good, and so I took that as a good confirmation that I wouldn't be going against, that my conscience, what with the sort of squeamishness about changing, was perhaps me being a little bit over conscientious rather than really being realistic, and that I was trying to be more Protestant than any Protestant should be, if you like, with my Protestant work ethic. So, and at that point I made my mind up to change. Anyway, a little bit of autobiography there at the end of this, for anybody that might be remotely interested. Right, cheers then. Thank you. Do widzenia.